The full moon is here, and voila, I'm done with the hard part or the crazy part of what I had to say. And there is a method to my madness, but I also benefited from some mistakes. By accident, I learned that you don't need to boost these posts with small amount of money in order to get large file sizes onto the site. But by paying for it to go on the site, I invited an outside audience, and already you see some of the vitriol. I've had messages, and it's exactly what I'm looking for. It's just people like this that are going to learn something, okay? And so often it's a case that the church welcomes us to faith, right? But sometimes seeing is believing. Sometimes we learn in much the same way as Jesus' little brother James. Okay, seeing is believing. Once you see, once you feel, you don't have any doubts. It's just the doubt is gone from your mind, and that Holy Spirit is said to be with you forever. And so I think it's just logical to start telling people, look, what's next when that happens. Well, it's real simple. You pick a favorite verse and kind of commit to it, and you don't get overexcited, overextended early on. Every Christian can do something, but none of us can do everything. And we want to take on the world, when Jesus starts working in our lives. But if I were the kind of person who was reached first kind of by a faith-based approach rather than the church, I would make my favorite verse James 2:14. There's a lot of symbolism in that, right? 2:14, that's the date in question, but it's also the area code for Grapevine, Texas. If you're the newest grape on the vine, make works your objective. What is faith without works? It's dead, okay? And there are so many different ways we can be compartmentalized. This Chris guy is going to, up in San Jose, Chris Kramer, is probably going to be my acting best friend and associate for all the work I do, screenwriting and stuff. But I'll have other friends, and we can each pick off something manageable. And there's so much. And if the early indications are any measure, then everyone's going to be real pleased with what we have to fight with, what we have to fight for. It's just so upsetting to some people initially, the idea of magic, and God is magical, and I think we're going to see that, but we don't need to feel it. And I probably have decades more experience reading the Bible, and my memory's really good. I want to be upfront with you all and tell you that I don't know everything. There are things as simple as the Trinity that still just kind of evade me. I'm not sure I do understand. It could say Mother, Daughter, and Holy Spirit for all that wouldn't change my impression of the Scripture. It doesn't. Three people, and I see God as this all-powerful force, and anyways, we all have our own understanding of God. It's just so important that we realize we do have a common enemy. So who is the common enemy? I said Gandhi, okay? But the truth of the matter is that type of everyone is great, we're all valued, let's all, that type of thought breaks down so quickly. It's so ruinous to civilizations as perfect and ancient as India, for example, that it needs to be nourished by other mantras, other philosophies, other ethos. And it's actually making fertile ground for who else but Hitler. And that's the enemy. It's this malignant narcissism the society is kind of breeding, okay? And I could talk on and on about this, and some of you would even say, oh my God, I've been to the wolf's den. You sure have, okay? There are a lot of wolves out there, and it's just, I love this after school, that School with the K, channel on YouTube. They have something on this. It's not perfect. My impression is that if you understand something better than they explain it on after school, then you have a hard time explaining it yourself. But it's perfect for explaining a lot of spiritual stuff, a lot of things about faith. They don't quote the Bible a whole lot, but it's pretty good and it's entertaining. The basic point is that we're kind of grooming people to who, you know, letting them continue to believe they're so awesome despite being flawed just like the rest of us. And they project an image of perfection that suddenly it not only makes us feel bad about ourselves, it makes other people around, we call it malignant for a reason. It can latch onto us. We can start to feel like we need to be this perfect in order to accomplish things in the world. And that's just not true. Okay? You can spot a Hitler before he even talks. Why? Weakling silence. The lowest monkey in the room knows he's low. Okay? So he silences the room. There's nothing more captivating to primates than silence. Shh, shh. You want to get people's blood up? You know, shush them, okay? Because there's something instinctual about that. There's something adaptive. We start to wonder, is there a lion or a tiger around? You know, we listen. And he's capitalizing on not human weaknesses, but human strengths. And that weakling silence, you don't see it in Germany. They know not to give that tactic any license, okay, to operate. But they still have malignant narcissists. We all do. And those are the people who get most upset by the idea of God existing. Nothing can be higher than them, okay? And this kind of spirals into, or snowballs into, an idea that we can't really talk about God publicly, okay? And that is a huge problem. I said that I get smoked on these super high IQ exams. I do. I mean, I've gone as low as 118. You know, I'm just not built for the 200 and above tests, not anymore. But with the tests that are like 140 to 160, like the tests that top out at 160, I did that last night, just, well, for a reason. Because there's money to be made in this arena. People back themselves into a corner. They paint themselves into a corner by talking about how smart they are. Okay, well, prove it. All right. I'm not saying I am that smart. I'm saying you're that dumb if you don't believe God is real. You have to believe you're smart because nothing can be above you. You're a narcissist, sir. You know, a big one. All right. And I got a friend named Chris Kramer who's never done anything all that impressive, you know, intellectually, academically. He got tricked up or swept up in these stimulants just like I did. I mean, he's not, he doesn't have ADD. He just got misdiagnosed, or, you know, he mistreated himself. He would embarrass the bejesus out of a vast majority of the people who think they are just orders above the rest of us. You know, that's the image they're projecting. It's not the Simon Fullers or the Donald Trumps of the world. Look, that's a type of narcissism, but it's not malignant. It doesn't rub off on us. It's not the kind of thing that leads to us saying, shh, you can't say Jesus, you know. It's not. It's just, it's laughable and entertaining because they accept the fact that they have a lot of vanity and a lot of, you know, ego, and that's totally fine, you know, in my book. I take it up with God, I guess, but I don't see a problem there. We have to free ourselves from the people who make everyone feel bad about themselves, from the people that make us, you know, victims of this Moses veil thing. What is that? It's like, how many pictures do we have to take of ourselves, you know, for a profile picture? I think 5 snaps is sufficient, but also we shouldn't go more than that, you know. But there's people out there using so many filters and so many different things. We're just not supposed to do that. It's narcissism gone wild, okay? And it's a byproduct of human nature, but it's also a byproduct of the fact that we're allowing it to continue. And I think there's going to be a lot of Jamies out there. What is that? It's a girl or a boy reached by a faith-based approach, and that's mine, this Valentine's Day. And then you people can be considered 007s. Remember that that's a holy number. Not license to kill, license to thrill. You can just tell people, I see you for what you are. You know, you don't really have all the answers. You don't really know everything. You know how you constantly shush people. You tell people to be quiet, right? A real Einstein wouldn't do that. Einstein said that he didn't believe God was interested in a personal relationship with his with his children, and then went on to live the most Christian life any of us have ever seen, right? No material possessions, just living by the word of Jesus. You do the math, okay? And we know that, that brings up a good point, that we know that Einstein's IQ was probably 162. I wouldn't shock me if he was similarly bad on these really high IQ tests. I struggle with him. I'm sure he would. Newton probably would as well. And he is clearly the smartest person who ever lived. So, who knows who's constructing these things to begin with? Maybe they're not that smart. Maybe the test is flawed. I'd like to think that, but that would drive me into this same group. Okay. And we can conquer just by, using money. Okay. When I say money, look, when we support things like Trailer Park. Okay, this is an idea that I have for a trailer park. We build a coffee shop kind of like Central Park. It's Trailer Park. You just get free coffee, and you put your cell phone away when you go and you talk to people. Okay, things like that. We need more trailer parks in Texas and all across the Gulf Coast, because people are a little more afraid of international travel for good reason these days. And we've got a lot more trailers because of the pandemic. People started buying them like crazy, and we need space, and this is something I want to see in Corpus Christi. I said Holy Land. It is going to be kind of holy. We can see a revival there. That's enough to make something holy, okay? Just the way that Husavik, Iceland is kind of holy for Netflix watchers. Even though, Eurovision Fire Saga, The Journey of Fire Saga was kind of a B movie, it's neat to go somewhere that's been featured on film. And there's a lot of room between here and North Carolina to play some really neat communal trailer parks that just make money by providing a great service. And that's an opportunity for people to escape their technology and come together to talk the way that we used to. We can party like it's 1999. There's no Facebook, there's no internet, there's none of that. We go fishing and all that stuff, and then when we come back to civilization, we can talk about it, how awesome it is to just get detect for a while, not detox, detect. And anyways, I won't limit, because there's you could end up selling Gucci bags for all I know and making money for Jesus, or saving your money. At the end of the day, there's only a handful of us that stand against the prosperity of the rest of us. Okay, it's the very people making our kids feel bad about themselves, making our kids neurotic about their weight, and they have to be put in their corner, and we can do that in a logical, scientific way, and we can just laugh about it after the fact, or roll our eyes and joke, Your Highness, Your Exaltedness, you didn't notice this, or it's time. It's time that we have these tools, and that's why they're coming to us. Okay, it's long over past time for, in some people's opinions. It's just too ridiculous to believe. This. The number of people trading on the perception of virtuosity and awesomeness, well, it's over. It's going to contract massively. That's what I should have said. We can keep rolling our eyes at these people. They will pop up here and there. It's just an inevitability of people struggling for individuality in a world this big and this connected. It's not like Zuckerberg's the devil. I joked about that, but the things that bring us together also divide us. Mark would be one of the first people to tell you that. And so we need to find solutions for that type of thing. We need to find God. That doesn't have to be all of us. It's just a lot of the most talented people on this planet are falling for the worst trap. Okay, and that self-sufficiency, that trap can get to all of us. But the malignant narcissism, it's driving all the worst human behaviors. It's just a few of us to poison the whole. One bad apple can make for a really bad vat of cider. And The fact of the matter is that the people who believe there's no God aren't that intelligent. You know, I'm one of these 160 guys, and there are a lot of others. That we're all over the place. Are you in a city of 100,000? There's several. Okay, and I think that people that truly do have an IQ of 160 take no time whatsoever to just say, this is human intelligence. I'm doing what other people can do. I just do it more efficiently. And there is a higher power. Okay, the smarter you are, the easier it is to understand that God is real. But the easier time you have pretending like you're God. Okay, so we're after the pretenders. And, you know, the table pieces are set. A tiny part of what's going to happen is going to be brought to you by yours truly. You know, I'm your acting Santa Claus. And so I'm here to tell you, you know, this fat shaming is a problem, but it's just also a problem to not tell people to lose weight. This is an example of the things that God has already started to do. You see this for every little problem that we're facing. You know, it's like Netflix or Prime have a video for it already. And this Jonah Hill one is a great documentary because it explains, look, there's a reason for us to want to diet and exercise. There are mental health benefits as well as physical benefits, you know. And I'll tell you, I am like Santa Claus, sort of. I got a bit of a sweet tooth, but I feel better when I'm at 180, and so I'm going to get back down. It's the perception that we have to be more perfect than we are that has to go. And one way to do that is to assemble people like me. And frankly, I'm not even a good example because I went to medical school. I had tested off the charts. It's even better when you have people that don't have a real illustrious academic career to speak of that can embarrass other people on these physics tests, on these, you know, the Goodwill Huntings of the world. I'm not one. They used to call me that. Dr. Ross used to call me that in medical school. But no, I'm not that guy. They're out there. I have a friend named Chris Kramer who is kind of that way. You should see him count cards. It's unbelievable. But I want to form something eventually within 3 years called the Austin Stone. No, I'm just kidding. That's a church. The Texas Stone. And I'll draw people from all over the place that just kind of come together for a roundtable discussion on Valentine's Day in Austin. Mine is not a religion. I'm not telling people not to start religions or to start them. That's a religion itself. It's about how do we approach faith when we know God is real, and the Holy Spirit proves it. Okay, it's going to come to a lot of you, and maybe, you know, if you have a friend that is a Goodwill Hunting type, send them my direction. Okay, because I need their help. I'm not above being humiliated, you know, by these people that. If there are people out there that are highly intelligent and believe God is not real, you know what? Let them make me the victim of humiliation. We can bet on these things. My Twitter record speaks largely to the fact that I've been scouring the internet for these kind of encounters for quite some time. I want that Twitter account back, by the way, but I don't know. Me and Elon aren't on a first name basis, so I can't get it back. I'll tell you what. If we get God back into the state of Texas, maybe I will get my Twitter account handle or Twitter handle back. For now, I'm just going to rely on Facebook and all of you, and I'm not going to need a lot of help, and neither are you. Whatever it is, I mean, God would never give you a task that is too big, and so it might be a small job that you have. Maybe I've got all this stuff I'm going to talk about, and you might say that fits me, or maybe you'll come up with something on your own, but. James 2:14 is a great verse to dedicate your life to, because you can't get caught up worrying about whether you're doing the right thing when you're doing something, doing works, period. It's just like, is this the right thing? Well, I'm doing something. Right, I agree. That's the best way to keep your sanity. And keeping your sanity is integral to keeping your faith. Thank you. Bye. Whoops, I keep signing off. Look. Keeping your sanity, that can be difficult as a believer in a world where we kind of praise and exalt disbelief, right? Well, this is something intrinsic to you too. If you're a believer, okay, we're all built to place greater weight on the voice of skepticism. That's something that keeps us safe in the wilderness. You know, when someone says, look at these scrawny lions, they just got to kill. They're scrawny. They probably can't do anything. And then someone says, oh, don't you dare. No, 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 no. They're fighting for their life over that kill, you know. And it keeps us safe. I mean, that's one example. There are millions, okay? I say that because I am the lion's moon, and I'm going to joke about that constantly. But truth be told, we know to a scientific certainty that human beings perceive cynicism, sacrilegious non-belief as being more intelligent. We perceive it that way. In popular culture, who's the smartest in the room? The person that doesn't believe in God and then doesn't believe that whatever's being attempted is going to work, okay? It's just, and the fact of the matter is, the irony of the matter is that those are the least intelligent people in the room. We're giving them the greatest voice, and we have to stop, okay? They are malignant narcissists 9 times out of 10. And it's like 1 in 3 billion, they're like sperm. 1 in 3 billion has a chance of becoming human, okay? The best we can do is kind of to expose them, to kind of show people, look, feel better about yourself and have faith, you know? Well, what is that going to do? Look, it changes everything. We're built to be skeptical about the natural world. We're not supposed to be skeptical about God. But having said that, it's important to note that these non-believers and the people who have the strongest voice, the people who are yelling the loudest, God isn't real, God couldn't be real, they play a vital role in God's story, okay? They're lowering we can grade on a curve, and they're only making your faith greater, especially if they're sowing doubt in your mind, okay? Because when you have doubts, you have to have greater faith to overcome them, okay? So what a blessing. It's this stuff that comes with it that we got to get rid of. The stuff that comes with disbelief, non-belief. I mean, that you don't turn into a Hitler-sized narcissist, you know, the Machiavellian, sociopathic, you know, this dark triad person, narcissist, unless you just don't believe there could be something higher than you, okay? See, really intelligent people, and I'm willing to bet a tremendous amount of humiliation on this. They know, okay? They say their IQ is 160, let's see, okay? That's not even that high, I know, but it's too high to not believe in God. And I love it that David stood before the giant with 5 stones and threw 1, right? What stone am I throwing? Einstein, 1 stone, okay? His IQ is only 160, but I promise you, it doesn't take a lot of reasoning to realize that this person we associate with stupidity and genius knew that the God of the Hebrews was real, okay, and was just doing his best in a hard time. It's kind of muddied the waters for a lot of people, because his declaration, you know, religion without science is blind, and he didn't talk about faith. I promise you, he knew that Jesus was the Son of God, and probably just thought he would be saved anyways because he was such a devout young man. And that's a fact. We can move past that and stop pretending like the people who don't believe in God have all the brains. They don't, okay? And we've done tests on this, so you can check that After School channel. It's just when you close off that way, people who think that God can't be real are closed-minded. And people who are closed-minded, it's not just that they aren't as intelligent. They're built to lose intelligence because they're gaming fewer things in their mind. Food for thought.